When was the last time you failed? When was the last time you had a massive heartbreak? When was the last time you took a big risk? So before I answer these questions, or before you give me an answer to these questions, or before you ponder over these questions, let me tell you a short story. At the end of the story, you'd probably have answers to these questions, or you'd probably know, hopefully, what to do. So at the age of 9, we are a family of 5. We didn't have anything to do. We had to support a family, 2 school-going children, 3 old people. So what we started off selling batter. So we were the pioneers of selling batter in Bangalore. So as a 9-year-old boy, what I would do is I would accompany my father, go shop to shop, and sell batter. Something started to fascinate me, and that was the word business. The tag of businessman. At the age of 9, trust me, I couldn't even write the word businessman. But for some reason, the tag of being a businessman always fascinated me, and that's something that I always wanted to do. Obviously, at the age of 9, there's nothing that you could do. The only thing that you had to do was sit and study. Like any other student, I used to be a studious boy, sit in the first bench, or probably in the last bench because I was tall, write down notes, come back home, go and support family in the best possible ways I could. Over a period of time, I realized that my heart lies in business. Not to forget, we're living in India. Indian parents want you to do only one thing: study. Of course, for whatsoever reasons, right? Because they want to stand, proud in front of their relatives that, that my son studied so and so. But I wanted to do something different. I did not have the courage back then to actually tell what I want. Life continued for about 7-8 years, or probably a bit more than that. In the year 2009, I lost my dad. That's when the entire responsibility fell on me. For a second, I thought the tag of becoming a businessman came closer to reality. Unfortunately, my mother had other plans. She wanted me to study. I wanted to manage business. She wanted me to study. Every day we used to have this argument. Okay, we came at a common ground to say that I will study, I will fulfill your desires as a mother, but when the time comes, you should let me manage business. Hesitantly, she agreed, like how all mothers do. So the thing with Indian mothers and your Indian TV serials, it's never short of drama and tears. It goes hand in hand. And of course, like the only mother, only son, it was my responsibility to fulfill her dreams, and I said, and I agreed to it. Throughout my academic journey, my 2 years of 11th and 12th, my 3 years of undergrad, my 2 years of postgrad. So, mind you, I've accumulated 3 master's degree, and I myself can't believe I've done it so far, okay? From not wanting to study and actually coming this far, I'm quite surprised too. So coming back to the story, I always wanted to manage business, and she wanted me to study, so we had to meet a middle ground. So I said, okay, fine, I will go to college, I will come back in the evening, I will help you with business. We agreed on these terms, and it went on. The thing with Indian parents is their definition of success is different. Yeah? They come from a different generation. For them, success means their son dressed in formals, or preferably a suit with a tie, an office cap coming to pick your children, your son working in fancy glass buildings. That is success. So in 2019, for the company that I was working in, across the street right here, we had something called as a family day. So you could bring your family members to work. So I took my family to work, and I could see her eyes gleaming with pride. She was so happy that her son works in one of the biggest buildings, or in one of the tallest buildings, or in one of the most biggest offices in the world. But deep down, I always knew that this is not what I wanted to do. Okay? My mother had a different worry. Which father would give his girl to a boy who doesn't have a stable job? That was her worry. She feared that I would remain unmarried for the rest of my life if I didn't have a job and if I wanted to do a business. Again, a lot of tears involved, lot of drama involved. In the end, on one fine morning, right in the middle of the pandemic, I woke up and I said, I cannot do this anymore. It was a very, very difficult decision that I had to take because the entire world was shut. The only stable income that anyone could have was a 9-to-5 job, and I was willing to let go of it. For what? For a passion that I had. It wasn't an easy decision to take. It was, in fact, I think, the most hardest risk or the hardest decision I've ever made in life. It turned out to be fruitful for one reason, which you will know at the end. Now you are asking, you might ask, why am I telling you this story? Everyone has a choice in life to make, okay? Everyone has a choice. You have a choice. Nobody does not have a choice. It's only about whether you want to exercise it or not. You can never complain saying, I didn't have an option. You definitely had an option. But whether you choose to take it or not is totally up to you. Now, a dream that I had at the age of 10 of becoming a businessman materialized at the age of 28. At the age of 28, I could proudly call myself a businessman. One reason why. The joy of serving food to someone is something that you can never express. No word in any dictionary can actually tell you how much of joy you get by serving food to someone. That's something that I always had from a very young age. And not just that, right? It doesn't end there. The minute you see the satisfaction on a person's face when they've had a wholesome meal, that is, if you observe the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the last one that you have is what? Self-actualization need. The moment that you've reached, the moment that you feel that you've achieved everything in life, it is equivalent to that. So that is something that I always felt from a very young age, and I could not express it, at the age of 10, at the age of 15, I could not tell them this is what I wanted to do. But I was able to do that, and I am able to do that. As you grow older, you would probably realize that money, fame, titles, the Idli King of Bangalore, whatever you want to call it, all that will mean nothing if you're not true to yourself. Yeah? If I were to just stick to my 9-to-5 job, I wouldn't be standing here. I would probably be one amongst, the 8 billion people in the world doing their jobs on a Friday afternoon. I chose to let go everything. I chose to take that risk. And probably that's why I'm standing here. Your passion can be anything. You can derive passion out of the simplest of things around you. It need not be fascinating to others. The person sitting next to you might have a completely different passion than you. It's okay. Your passion need not make sense to the world. The only person that it should make sense to is you. And it can be unconventional. My most favorite batter or batsman of this generation is Steve Smith. Why? A completely unconventional and an unorthodox action. His batting style is so different, and yet he is fearless. Even if you are unorthodox, even if you are unconventional, you have to be fearless. You have to stop worrying about what people will think of you or what people, would worry of you. At the end of the day, the only person that you are answerable to is yourself. So your passion can mean anything. It can be the smallest of smallest things, or it can be the biggest of biggest things. But if you're not ready to do that, that's the problem. You don't have to be settled by the age of 25. You don't have to make your first million by the age of 25. You don't have to have your entire career path sorted out in front of you. It is okay not to be okay. However, it is not okay if you are not willing to do something about it. Failure is something that drives us. The first question that I asked when I stepped onto stage was, when was the last time you failed? I will tell you that it is important for you to fail. You should fail at least once or twice in life. Once you fail, it opens up a whole new dimension for you. two things. The way you look at life and the way life looks at you entirely changes once you fail. And when you perform, when you try something for the second time and you failed for the first time, your perspective changes. You are more an experienced person to make a better judgment. So it is important for you to fail. It is important for you to have a heartbreak. You will know how to handle difficulties in life better. A straight path or a straight road is not going to lead you anywhere. If you think life is peaceful, that I have nothing to worry about, that's something you actually have to worry about when you have no problems in life. Because when the actual problem comes, you will absolutely be clueless. You will not know what to do. So it is absolutely important for you to fail and fail early. So these are the small things that would actually help you to get forward. Academic degrees set aside, your certifications set aside, they're all just a gate pass for you to enter the outside world. But once you enter, it's a whole new ball game. It's your experiences that will actually take you forward. Now, we spoke about unconventional passions, we spoke about failures, we spoke about taking risks. Now, what happens when you do something from your heart? When you're true to yourself and when you do something from your heart, without you knowing, you are inspiring an entire generation. There are so many people who look up to you, who watch your words and actions so closely that it is quite surprising. I had a neurosurgeon text me from US, from the other part of the world, saying that she was extremely inspired of my journey, and she was so happy that I let go of a career, which is a very difficult decision to make, to let go of a career in investment banking, a well-paying job, and to start selling idlis. She's a neurosurgeon working on complex research, and I'm here sitting in Bangalore wondering how much more green chili should I put to make my chutney spicy. Totally two different worlds, totally two different unrelated worlds, and yet she felt inspired. So people actually look up to you. I have young kids who come to the store with their parents, and they are so observant. I've seen kids asking their mothers, Amma, why does Krishnan Anna always wear the same color shorts and t-shirt every day to shop? That's how people are. People actually look up to you. Parents have come and told me that, that they tell their children to become like me when they grow up. It feels good when you hear such things. What have I done? Nothing great, nothing special. Just true to yourself, true to your heart, and follow your passion. So these small things that you consider tiny, small, insignificant, actually adds value to someone's life. And when you are at that stage, people will definitely reach out to you for help. People would want to seek guidance from you. At that moment, the least that you can do is the smallest of smallest things that can actually make a big impact in someone's life. So we have a simple policy at Iyer Idly. When someone comes to us asking for the recipe, we openly share it. Okay? The only reason being, food is a fundamental right. Okay? Good food should be shared with everyone, and no one should go to bed hungry. This is something that we have been following and we will continue to follow. So around 6 months back, I had a lady text me from Kerala saying that she's a single mother. She had lost her husband in an accident, and she had a young girl to raise, and she did not know what to do. And so she approached me asking if I could help her in some or the other form. So the first thing that I asked her, do you know how to cook? And she said yes. And I did spend some time in teaching her the recipe of how to make idli and how to make chutney. At the end of week 1, she texted saying, sir, I sold 25 idlis. Wow, not a bad number to start off. A week later, she texted saying, sir, I sold 50 idlis. I'm like, wow, not a bad number to continue. And then she texted me on the third week saying she sold 150. So all I had to do was just share the recipe and make her independent. And now she's able to sustain a living for herself and for her daughter. A small act of kindness is not going to cost me anything, but it is going to mean the entire world for someone. Before I wind up, I just have two things to tell. I have a favorite, not a favorite song, but a favorite line from a Tamil song which says, Kayil konjam kaasu irundal, needhaan adakku yajamanam, kaluthu varaikkum kaasu irundal, adudhaan unakku yajamanam. When you have money that can fit only in your two hands, you are the ruler of it. But when you have money till your neck, something that you can't control, the money starts ruling you. It's quite a deep message. Ponder over it. And I am Krishnan Mahadevan, and this is my story. And before I wind up, I just have one thing to tell. Be you. The world will adjust. Neenu neenagiru. Ee prapancha ninna darige varutte. Nee neeagiru. Ulagam seriyagum. Unnai pol yarum illai.